You fancy yourself a baker and people rush to your door. I want to come to your next gig. Yeah, I mean, let the audience give you a clue. Give you a clue. You know, the gifts and callings of God are without repentance. All right. We probably all know people who have either should have been in ministry but didn't, or were and then for whatever reason moved out, but they tend to go to secular careers that mimic their ministerial calling. Fallen evangelists make great car salesmen, or salespeople, I should say. I'm trying. Israel keep me on track here. I got it. But so I'd be writing these things, and people were drawn to them, and then I went to met a guy named Harold Everly. I don't know if some of you know him, but that guy made sense. He was the first minister, preacher, teacher who really fit what I was looking for in Christianity, which I could never find traction anywhere else. And he took me and a bunch of others to a trip to Africa. And while I was there, we were up in the mountains outside of a place called Na'aruhu or something, which is about 4 or 5 hours outside of Kenya. Kenya. What's the capital of Kenya? Yeah, Nairobi. Yes, very good. Thank you. So we're up there where the game preserves are, and it's cold. You know, the joke is always, you know, you dumb Americans, you think you're going to Africa, you're going to walk around in Bermuda shorts and tank tops. No, it was cold up there because you're so high. And so Harold and I are sitting we're in a hostel, and he's scribbling away on a sheaf of paper. And it's by firelight. They burn mahogany over there, which just blows my mind, but it's a cheap, disposable wood. And I'm just getting to know him. He's an introvert's introvert when you know him personally. He doesn't talk to you. When he's out in public, he's got what I call his A personality. Like, hey, brother, how are you? I hope he's listening. How are you? Hey, good to see you. God's going to preserve you. As soon as you walk out of the room, he just shuts down. And he's back to his normal self, which is probably battery recharge. Anyway, I was like, what are you doing? And he says, I'm working on a book. Yeah, what's the book about? A book about blah, 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 blah. Okay. Can I look? Can I see? Goes, yeah, okay. Throws it at me like he was glad to be done with it. And I started flipping through it, and just my natural instincts. I'd done a lot of editing and engineering, because engineers can't write to save their lives. And the trouble is, success in engineering is all about successful communication, especially in a large organization. All right, you think about what God did to the people building the Tower of Babel. You know, He could have destroyed it. He could have sucked them all up in some sort of divine nuclear holocaust. He didn't. He just changed their language so nobody could understand each other, you know? And that's all it took, you know? So now fast forward to engineering, is like, you got the greatest idea. Hey, that's it. I've got the formula for instant water. I've got wind turbines that'll actually make sense. You know, I've got the old days carburetors, these days fuel injection. I got an engine that'll get 150 miles to a gallon of, I don't know, linseed oil or whatever. But convincing the world, at least the immediate world, which is where your ideas will have to find traction and get influence, takes writing. You have to be able to communicate. And if you start every sentence with duh, you're not going to get very far, okay? If your verbs and nouns and kind of chase each other like dogs and rabbits on the first day of rifle season, you're not going to get far at all. So anyway, so I did have a kind of a background on this. So there we're in the hostel, and I started looking through this thing, and I said, this thing is a mess. This guy's a world-class, world-leading theologian, teacher, and he writes like a fourth grader. And I said, Harold, let me help you. He goes, yeah, sure. So we were together 5 weeks, Kenya, and then Uganda. And then it was about 6 of us, and we all flew back to London, and then from there we went our separate ways. So we get to London, and I had been working on it on the plane and all this, so I finally pulled it out of my backpack, and the thing weighed about 4 or 5 extra pounds just from all the red ink on it. And I threw it over to him, and I'm thinking in the back of my mind, well, that's the end of that budding friendship, because I murdered it, and this guy, I mean, he seems a little, I don't know, he is a very high-strung guy. And I got an email about 3 weeks later thanking me profusely. And he said, I've had 4 other editors on different endeavors, professionals, pay them money, and you by far the best. And I want to keep working with you. And I'm like, wow, this is cool. So that's how things kind of got started, and then so again, go back to the idea. If you if you come to your neighbors with a cake and you hear the door slam and they're loud, tell her we're not at home. Okay, it's probably maybe cooking for the masses is not for you, and so you can go from there. Okay, it's now 2:06. Wes is here. We can start. Thank you all for coming. Believe me, I am well aware that this is nap time. You've had 2 high-powered preachers. It's a gorgeous, I think it's a nice day. It's 40 degrees. It's nice for a Yankee. For you guys, it's probably still cold. But you're here, all right? And thank you. There'll be a special place in heaven for you. Probably the library, but yeah, that'll be a special place in heaven. Get some introduction. I will be not teaching out of this, but a lot of things I'm teaching will be out of this book. I don't necessarily have to sell it, okay? If anyone would like a copy, you're here. I'll give you one. I'll gift you one, okay? Is there anyone that would like 2? All right. You got one? All right. Here you go.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. How many? 3 more? 4 more? All right. I just don't want to take these back. Now, now the signature is $25. Okay, so okay. Now, who else? All right. Now there is a famous saying. Oh, you're gonna. Goodness gracious, you sure about that?
Yeah.
Okay, honey, we got gas money. Make it back. Okay, your friend, and then you, sir. What's your name?
John.
John, honest John. What was I going to say?
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Oh, John. Huh? Okay. Goodness gracious, folks. Thanks. This is humbling. It really is. I mean, I would actually pay you to read it. That's how I feel about it. I wrote, are we good? Oh, sorry, ma'am. The squeaky wheel gets greased. So, are we good? Everybody even?
I'm here.
Hi, Regina Shank, one of my favorite authors here. Sir? Oh, okay. Good. Beginning to feel like a dance.
I know.
No, I'm starting to feel like a dancer in a cage here or something, Okay. Know where I want to go. I know where I want to go. Where was I? I got dancers in cages in my mind.
Most of what you're teaching is from that book today.
Yes, it is.
Where you started.
Yeah. Give me just a second. We'll come up to it. All right, well, we'll just go with this. There are, I think of it as 3 different levels or reasons to write. And in a minute, I'm going to ask you what some of you are doing. But we'll set some, again, more ground. Oh, one more ground rule is I'll talk forever, all right? It's 2:09. I usually run about 2 hours. If anybody has to go, anybody has to, it's okay, all right? Your name is already written in heaven. There's not much I'm going to be able to do about it, but just go. And if I get too long or you want to redirect the conversation, that's fine. Are we good? I need you to speak up because in times past, I've felt, God give me a burden. I was burning with something. I really want to deliver this at the workshop. I don't have that this time, okay? And so I'm like, okay, God, what do the people want? Who needs what? My sense, first of all, is I've got a lot of beginning writers. Is that accurate? Is anyone here an established writer? Okay, all right, we'll check jealousy off the list then.
What does that mean?
An established writer? Have you finished projects, produced projects, submitted for an audience? That's what I mean. Some sort. Yes, Regina had. Well, I didn't have to ask you. I know who you are. How we've done what? 4 books together?
Yeah, 4 or 5.
4 or 5. Yeah. Yeah, we got half of Missouri saved, and then we're going to go on to Kansas and and then the world. So, writing. I want you to think of writing as the outward expression of an inward dialogue. Okay, so much of what a writer produces, it's a very small fraction of what's really going on inside, which would lead you to draw the conclusion that what finally makes it out, the quality of what is reflective of the quality within, all right? If you read secular stuff, and I hope you do, and I'll defend that statement in just a second, you'll hear the angst, you'll hear the agony and the ecstasy, you'll hear Shakespeare, you'll hear Macbeth raging, you'll hear Allen Ginsberg, I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed, and he doesn't offer a solution other than more LSD, but the value at least is in taking the temperature of the patient and seeing the red going to the top and then exploding at the tip like it does in the cartoons. So there is value in that. But go back to, if you don't like what you see, what you end up writing about, come back to the inner, okay? Now, last year, I went on forever about the idea that good creativity does not flow well on the scale of right or wrong, all right? Now, just hang with me for 5 minutes and then you can excommunicate me if it sounds bad. I would encourage you not to think in terms of right or wrong when you're writing about something. I mean, there's certain things that we could all agree on it's wrong, but my point is right and wrong is conditional. To a creative person, to a creative writer, things are right in one context, wrong in the other. You might be writing about something in a story, and you're thinking, I want to get it right, or this is wrong. Let me back you up and encourage you. Let me take you to Deuteronomy. I always get the number wrong. I think it's 31. It's when God has essentially introduced himself to the children of Israel. And for the first 4 chapters, I think it starts at 27, 28, he's really reading them the riot act. He says, look, if you walk with me, everything's going to be cool. And he's speaking in a male-dominated environment, so I'll reflect that, but it works both ways. But, your wife's going to love you, your children are going to love you, they're going to grow up and be Republicans, and your fruit trees are going to bear fruit, and life is going to be great, and the Washington Redskins are going to win the Super Bowl. Yes, God, go. But if you don't obey me, life is going to inhale vigorously. All right? And marauders will come and carry away your family, and your donkey will poop on your foot, and your land will be barren and everything, So, and this is what he says then. He sums it all up this way. He said, behold, I set before you life or death, blessings or cursings. I might have that order reversed. But I want to take you to, I set before you life and death. That is the spectrum on which, the scale on which your efforts, the quality of your work needs to be judged. And that kind of judgment, and it applies to your life, but that kind of judgment takes maturity, which comes from experience, and it takes a sensitivity, not just to things spiritual, but to things of God, the Spirit of God. So as you are writing, you may get into some dark places. You may bring up dark things in your life, or you may create a plot. You might be writing fiction, and you're writing about some terrible things. It may feel dark to you. Step back, and you've got to ask yourself, with your Creator, with God, said, listen, how am I doing Is this the direction you want me to go? Okay. I had to write a book. Essentially, I rewrote it. The guy had written it, but it was a fishbone type of writing. I had to flesh it out a lot. But I had to write a scene. It was about slavery. It's about kids being enslaved and how young girls are treated to break them over a period of 2 weeks before they're sold to people like in Saudi Arabia, in the Middle East. And I think I've said enough there. But I wrote it in great detail, and I hated it. But I step back and I go, there's good things going to come from this, because we're going to shake up readers. We're going to shake up donors. We're going to shake up action people. All right. So again, try to get out of the mindset of right and wrong. Try to get into the mindset of life and death. You know, in him was life, and that life became the light of all mankind. Life takes us to the heart of God. That's where life is. Writing can take different levels. There's a level of writing that we all do, and again, it's the outward expression of the inward dialogue. People love to journal. Who was it today was telling me? Were you saying you were journaling? Okay, yeah. Journaling. A lot of people love to journal. I can't stand it because I know nobody's going to read it. I'm a ham to begin with. Jacqueline says, Jim, you were born to be on a stage. I said, well, I'm trying. All right, that's it. Detention. You're going to clean the boards 5 days in a row. So journaling is a valid, I even hate to use the word valid because I don't want to pass judgment on it. But journaling, a lot of people do it. A lot of writers do it, okay? It's writing for an audience of one. Now, I say one, I mean you. Obviously, God's in your life or you wouldn't be here. But journaling is for an audience of one. And oftentimes, that's where it needs to stay. All right? First of all, it's probably extremely private. It's also usually very detailed or nuanced in the sense that you know what you're talking about, so you don't have to explain it. But it's self-serving, and there's nothing wrong with that. Remember, it was Jesus came to save you, yourself. So there's nothing wrong with self-serving. Just understand what you're serving. And then there's another level then where you're writing for a limited audience, and say a very small audience. You might be a pastor, you might be writing for your congregation. You might have a certain teaching, like I wrote this thing, right? And obviously I was writing for writers. Okay, limited audience, all right? And then, so again, the key is the audience. And then the third level might be, okay, I'm writing the next War and Peace, or I'm writing the next Gone with the Wind. Of course, I'm dating myself. But modern times, I might be writing for the next big blockbuster here. And so each one is a different experience. And sometimes people think, I want to take you to this idea. You have to have a good idea in your mind who your audience is, all right? Now, you may not be able to articulate it, but as you write, in your mind, you're going to begin to think about, gee, who would read this? And the mind abhors a vacuum. Okay, so when you ask yourself a question, an answer will present itself, at least the beginning of one. So you're saying, I'm writing this, who am I writing for? Who am I writing for? And you might have a picture, you might have a picture of school children. Yeah, back when I substituted, I thought these kids, and they really need to know this, or they would really enjoy this, or this would be fun, or something. Or here's a great way to teach kids the times tables, or brush your teeth, or don't stick the cat's tail in the electric socket, whatever. Okay, but an audience should form, and it's critical that you have an audience in mind as you write. It will dictate your style. In the style is going to be the level of vocabulary, the level of maybe say historical references, cultural references. I just turned 70 a few months ago. All my references come from the 60s and early 70s. And I have to watch myself because, again, I talk to someone like Israel. I go into high schools twice a year to talk about engineering. I'm a retired engineer. And I make all these references, and I think I am like the funniest guy in the world. And they just stare at me, It's like, what do you mean you don't know who Jackson Browne is? What do you mean you don't know what a Leslie is next to an organ? What do you mean you don't understand what 4 on the floor means? I mean, where are you? What are they teaching you kids, But so who's my audience? How can I effectively communicate this? Now, as you write, I want to encourage you to think, whoa, they're getting younger all the time. I want to encourage you to start thinking, first of all, very rough draft about whatever. Now, you may have a structure. Some people like to start from an outline. Other people don't. I hate them. But my brain outlines naturally, okay? Other people like to write out an outline. Harold Everly, he writes from an outline. And in my opinion, it shows in his writing, so when I edit it, I scrub all that out, at least as best I can. And for the record, he's gotten to be a lot better writer. He really doesn't need me anymore. But whatever it takes to start, give yourself permission, give yourself liberty. You may start with something in mind, and you may end up somewhere else, okay? Now, in writing fiction, I find that happens all the time. I know I want to get from here to there, and it's like a Google Maps program. I want to get from here to Omaha. Oh, I want to stop at my sister's and the Dairy Queen in Burbank or something, and then it routes you. Okay, so I have the dots in mind, but how to get there, I don't know. And as I go, something often presents itself. The point is, give yourself liberty, all right? Lighten up, all right? We're all Christians. We're all glad we're saved from hell. We all know that we have to walk the straight and narrow, okay? Let writing be your sandbox, your playground. Have fun. Nobody loses their salvation or ticks off God over something you write. Like I say, get back to, remember the scale, life or death, and I'll tell you a story here quickly. But have fun. Let it out. Even, you could be writing fiction, you could be writing nonfiction, you could be writing the next technical manual on how to change the paper in a Xerox machine. Who knows? I mean, I've done all that. But have fun. Have fun with it. Better to put something down in the first draft, the rough draft, than to leave it out. Do not edit as you write. I strongly suggest that you don't. Now, these are all these rules have exceptions to them, but in general, if you're editing, you're not really creating, So it's a little like trying to give your baby a haircut while it's still in the womb. No, don't. Let it form in the womb. When it finally is delivered, which is the second draft, then you can think about, I like the curls or I don't like the curls, all right? Have fun, yeah? Have fun, get messy, make mistakes. The little yellow school bus, again, dating, you know that one? No? Nobody knows that one. I live in a world, I'm convinced, my doctor said it's normal, just keep taking the pills, but I don't know, I'm beginning to wonder. All right. What happens between the rough draft and the second draft is some editing, and I'd like to do an exercise with you in a moment. There's a point in writing the first draft, probably you don't want to show it to anybody, but by the second draft, you should show it to someone, all right? You can show it to people who are knowledgeable about what you're writing, but what you really should look for is someone who comes from the demographic that is your target audience, all right? If I'm trying to write a manual about how to change the transmission on a 57 Willys Jeep, all right, I might take it to some mechanics, okay? How am I doing? I'm not sure I would take it to a ballet dancer, right? What are they going to know? They don't know. Willys Jeeps? I didn't know they made them. Okay, I know. That's what scares me about the world. So take it to someone, and here's the key. Here's the key. Take it to someone who doesn't like you. Don't take it to someone who loves you, okay? Because love is the L word. And the other L word that goes with love is liar, all right? Honey, does this dress make me look fat? Dear, do I need a haircut? Whatever. Oh, no, baby. Yo, everything's fine. Oh, honey, you're the hottest thing since, I don't know, Greta Garbo. Who's Greta Garbo? Okay. You can take it to your friends and family just so they know where you're spending your time. But your best feedback will come from people who are disinclined to read what you're writing. Now, all of that is based on the idea that you're writing for an audience and not necessarily a journal. So people who are and actually the population of people who are disinclined to read what you write is vast because the world is lousy with entertainment. It's everywhere, the touch of a button. I've got, anything in the world on YouTube and Instagram and who knows what, TikTok and 1,000 channels on TV and everything else. And in the meantime, I'm supposed to crack this dry, dusty thing. What? The pages don't dance, they don't sing, it's black and white. I have to think, forget it. I'm going to go watch a new episode of Bluey or something. My 5-year-old loves Bluey, 5-year-old granddaughter. So that's what you're up against. Okay, so you might as well face it. People are going to be disinclined to read whatever you've written. Now, that might discourage you, or you might rear back and go, H-E double hockey sticks, yeah, I'm doing it. I will wake you up in a state of shock. You will wonder why you ever got through life without reading this. And when you can do that, that's a blast, okay? You with me? So it's like, do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk, okay? Remember, so that would be somewhere around draft 2. Draft 3, you're looking probably for some good professional help. Either professional pay me money or professional, they've studied it, they know what they're talking, find somebody who knows what they're talking about. Somebody who knows an Oxford comma, a semicolon from a colon, people who know what they're doing grammatically, in terms of vocabulary. Somebody on roughly the same intelligence level as you or better, and they can help you with your syntax and things like that. That's a rough idea of the writing process. Are there any questions? I would love a question. In the back.
You said there's 3 reasons to write too, though, right?
Say what now?
You said there's 3 reasons to write also, right?
Well, yeah, I kind of went journal, small audience, large audience, yeah. And here's one thing I get when I'm looking at a manuscript. I'll say, who's your audience? Well, young people. Okay, good, young people. The world needs young people. Somebody's got to pay into my Social Security. Come on, yeah, get a job, get 3. Okay, young people, good. What age group? Well, I don't, 12 to 15. Okay, we could do that. Young adult, I guess whatever they're called. I call them young adults. But then maybe 20s. Okay. Of course, the 30-somethings, they're young inside, young at heart. Okay, and that's getting a little bigger. Men, women, affluent, poor, all of that. Okay. All 57 genders. Okay, we got that. And of course, the retirees, again, they have their second job. They end up saying the whole population of the globe. And I go, no, we've just talked ourselves out of any sense of relevance. So let's go back. Let's tune this back down. Okay? So, I'll use Regina as an example because I know her well. And she likes me. Yeah. So Regina works with the downtrodden. She runs. She's a CEO of 2 or 3 nonprofits. The people these are the real bad ones. These are the people that the devil gave up on. Okay, and she deals with them. Brokenness, severe. And when you open her book, it's like, here's how to recover from brokenness. Here's how to recover. She's working on a book right now on rejection. So her audience is clear. All right. When I wrote this book on writing, it was the fruition of my life and time so far. I'd like to think it's not over, but it feels that way some days. And it was clearly I'm writing for writers, beginning writers, middle writers, end writers, and editors, people that want to get into the business. Okay. And sometimes it's not so clear. Again, especially in writing fiction, fiction is often harder to target because the fiction is usually coming from deep inside, Now, I'm very conscious of the fact that I'm in church. I'm very much a Christian. Don't think I'm not. But like the Harry Potter series is controversial. Some people think it's great. Some people think it's a spawn of Satan. I happen to like it, but I would not push it on somebody who said, no, I think it's the occult. I see the arguments for both and arguments in between. But with that disclaimer, J.K. Rowling, which I've read a lot of her other stuff just on commenting on society, and she's spot on. But the story started with a thought. She's riding on a train, and the thought came out of nowhere, and it said, it's a story about a boy who is a wizard, only he doesn't know he's a wizard. Okay, now that was the kernel in engineering, and we call it KERNEL. It's the first line in a program. It starts everything else, called the kernel. And everything else built from there. So fiction writers have a harder time targeting their audience in the beginning because they're chasing an idea. They're passionate about the developing plots, all right? So depending on the need for frequent revisions, the mantra is continue to revise until you get it right. Fiction more often than nonfiction. Nonfiction is pretty clear. Can you disassemble the transmission of the 57 Willys Jeep, or can't you? Okay, from this. That's more black and white. But in fiction, there's more of, did this scene work? When the hero took the maiden into his arms and whispered, come away to my farm, did your heart beat? You, the audience, things like that. So it takes a little more development. Okay?
Can I say something?
Please.
Okay, so I have to write. I need to write. If I don't write, I'm going to explode. And because I process externally. I don't know how you process, but I have to either say it or write it to look at what I've been thinking and say, okay, that's really how I feel. That's really how I got through this situation. I am a journal person. I have a journal for every year I've lived, and except when I was 5 years old. I started when I was 6. But anyway, I'm just saying, that's how I process. And I don't know how you process, but you have to process your life. And if you don't process it by writing, you're going to have to, knock somebody's ear off because you've got to get it processed out there. Mm-hmm. And so Jim has helped me a whole lot in writing my books. I thought they were absolutely amazing until I talked to him.
Sorry.
And then I found out they weren't quite as amazing as I thought they were. But I'm humble enough most days to hear what he has to say. And it really helped me to be the writer that I am. But one of the things, too, my dad was a writer, and I got some of that DNA from him. But my father is a writer, Father God, and I believe sometimes I say, Lord, help me express this. Help me get this out because somebody needs to hear this. And I wrote Deliverance to Freedom. I wrote Weeding the Master's Garden. I wrote God's Call to Prayer, Unlocking the Seer Gift, and The Standard Bearer, and he helped me with every one of those. And now I threw something at him yesterday.
Yep.
All these poems I wrote when I was going through a really difficult time. And also some prose that I threw in there. I don't know if he's looked at it. But I value his opinion because I think my stuff's great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not because you need somebody else's experience and wisdom. And he's helped me so much to become a writer. I wasn't a writer at first. I was a journal person. And then I started writing to process, and then I began to write so other people could benefit from what I've learned. And so I don't know if that helps at all. But
appreciate it.
He's very good at helping you get your stuff on paper to where people like it. I mean, I thought all my stuff was absolutely fine. And it wasn't quite amazing until we collaborated on it.
Yeah.
And now I think it is much better than it would have been. And so I really believe that Jim knows what he's talking about.
I appreciate it.
How many books we've done? Maybe 5.
5 or 6.
We're working on another one.
Appreciate that.
It's gonna be the hardest
yeah, I mean, for the record, I'm not necessarily looking for business. This is not what this is about.
No,
I'm,
but you're good.
thank you. Okay, thank you. My one-woman fan club here. Quick story on journalism. Back to journaling. It was about 3-4 years ago. Had a lady email me, and all my work comes from word of mouth. I don't advertise.
I'll help yes.
You're the ad, yeah, you're the ad woman. And it was, now I'm going to use some phrases and then I'll explain them here in a second because we're going to get into self-publishing versus traditional publishing. Came to me and said, I'm trying to load a book, a manuscript, and the way you load a book is you load the manuscript and then you load the cover into a program called Kindle Direct Publishing or KDP.com. That's one way to do it. It's the way I do it. I find KDP to be the easiest for self-publishing. And the lady was, just could tell by the tone of the voice, she was somewhere in the early 60s. And it's always important, I mean, those of us who work with people, age is important because it helps me understand the demographic. And it helps me understand what phrases will work and their language, how they, their love language, their, all of that. Okay, I'm losing the train. So anyway, she comes to me and she had the story, what happened, as I said, was send me your files, send me your cover file, send me your manuscript, and I'll look it over and I'll figure out why you can't load it. Well, I looked at what she was trying to load and I told God, thank you for blocking this, because she had taken 500 pages of very dense journaling, excruciating, and it all came from the pain of losing her, I think, 6 or 7-year-old granddaughter that she was raising as a daughter because her daughter, the mom went off the rails. So this grandmother was raising this girl and she was in the back seat. Car got hit by a habitual drunk driver and the girl was killed and the drunk driver got off in court. She had been through hell. So I looked at it and of course my heart went into a million pieces. First of all, I hated to see bad writing and it was a terrible story. I mean, you understand, a story of a terrible event. And the cover, Lord bless her soul, was a picture of a grave marker in a freshly dug. I said, wow, no, stop, full stop. And so I began to work with her. I said, are you willing? Here's what I will do with the first chapter. And I rewrote it in the guise of what's known as creative nonfiction. All right, in the world of writing, you've got fiction, which means you made it up, but that's my story and I'm sticking to it. And then you've got nonfiction, which means you better not try to make it up. And then you've got creative nonfiction, which means the events are true, but it's written in the style of fiction. So you could use dialogue and setting and backstory. It was a dark and stormy night and the intrepid engineer stood at the rim of the volcano as the yellow school bus teetered between the depth of the lava or off the cliff and the little orphans were screaming. Okay, you build a dramatic element. You build elements into it like a story arc, okay? So we start here and then crisis and resolution, and then things kind of glide out into peaceful, harmonious. So you make it into something people will read, and as cold or crass, insensitive as it may sound, as gripping as the event was, no one was going to read her story. No one was going to benefit from her story if we didn't do some serious work. All right? So we did. And in the process, it turned out beautiful. And I was about 2 or 3 chapters into revising this when I realized that although she was writing about recovery from grief, she was far from recovered. Now, I've got letters after my name, but they're not from the soft sciences, okay? They're engineering and, that's basically where it comes from. So I can't claim to be, I'm not a Jordan Peterson here, but I still was able to work with her a little bit. I did a lot of listening and even just redoing her story so in a way that she could see it. It was kind of like, oh, yeah, sure. And so that's a process. Give you an example of a process. All right. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit of publishing today, and then I want to hear from you I want to know either what you're writing or what you think you're writing or what you want to write. I really would like to just maybe pop through here in a bit. And then I've got a couple of exercises I want to do, which I think you'll find fun. So let's talk about publishing today. Today we have two forms of publishing in general. We have traditional publishing, and we have what's called self-publishing. All right. Now, traditional publishing is the way publishing has been done since Gutenberg invented the printing press. All right. It's a company publishes books for fun and profit. All right. So Macmillan and Son, or Zondervan, or back in my day, Dell paperbacks or something. But they do it, and they fund the effort. So if they accept your book, your manuscript, they will cut a deal. They will pay you for the rights for the manuscript. Now they own the book. They own the rights now. They bought them from you. Usually part of the deal involves a fraction of the royalties. The royalty is the dollars you get for every unit sold. Okay, so you might, as the author, get $2, $3, $4, $5 for every unit sold. If you're a best-selling author, that can add up. All right, but the traditional publisher will pay for the editing. It'll pay for the graphics for the cover. It'll do the printing. It'll do the promotion. It does everything. And why shouldn't they? It's their book now. You signed over the rights. Now, you might get money for signing over the rights. You'd be foolish for not getting money for signing over the rights. The likelihood of your manuscript or whatever you're writing getting picked up by a traditional publisher is pretty narrow. That is because the traditional publisher looks at it as a commodity. Can I take this, pay you, pay for production, and make a buck? You know, God bless capitalism. But capitalism says your work is marketable or your work isn't marketable from a traditional publisher's business model. Are you with me? Yeah, money, it's a gas. Grab that cash with both hands and make a stash. Okay. Welcome to America. So a lot of people who would like to be published under the traditional model back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s when everything was in New York City, they couldn't. It just wouldn't work. You know, where would we be? But, you know, guys like who wrote Moby Dick or The Heart of Darkness, John Conrad, people like that, you know, they did get published. But the other thing about a traditional publisher is they enforce standards, all right? Because let's say a traditional publisher took my book and the book was garbage, you know, misspelled words or, you know, just a terrible book, and they put it out. Everybody's going to go, whoa, Macmillan and Son, they sure put out crap. I don't want to read another book by them. So traditional publishers have traditionally enforced standards. I've done a couple of books for chosen books. They do the Bethel Guys, for example, bestsellers, and I edited 2 books for them, and the first thing they gave me was a 50-page style manual printed both sides. Things like how many exclamation points you can have in a manual, you know, how to use a comma, how to use capital. I mean, it was, and they judge you on it. Okay, that's traditional. Traditional publishing basically means unless you have fallen from, in the Christian world, you have fallen from grace, or your wife has ever stood on TV with the mascara running down her cheeks, confessing to sins, real or imagined, you ain't famous or infamous enough to generate sales. So you're not going anywhere, okay? Now, let's go over to self-publishing. Self-publishing, completely different world. Self-publishing, the author pays for everything. Again, follow the money. The author writes the book. The author does the editing. The author gets help. I get hired a lot. I work primarily in self-publishing. People come to me, Jim, I've got this book. You think it's a book. It looks to me like cat paper. You know, you put it in the bottom of the liver van. No, I wouldn't do that. Quick aside, when our first was born they laid him on her belly, and it was gray, and it was cheesy, and it was squirming, okay? That's your rough draft manuscript. You clean it up, and in 2 weeks, it's brushing its own teeth. In 4 weeks, it's driving the family car, and in 2 years, it graduates Harvard, okay? Things progress. So despise not small beginnings, all right? But the author who retains the rights to her work also pays for the development of her work. That's how it works. Yeah. Then you load it into, again, a company like KDP, and the steps to load are fairly easy. You think about it, KDP is in the business of receiving self-published manuscripts and printing them, so they're going to make it easy. If their software was difficult, they wouldn't be in business, all right? So it's not that hard. But you load the manuscript, you load the cover file, and we'll talk about covers in a minute, and then you wait. What do we have in Jesus? And they review for certain standards, all right? But they're pretty open, all right? I've often thought I want to produce a 150-page book entitled All I Know About Women by Jim Bryson. And when you open it up, it's 150 blank pages. I think that would be great. Somebody's got to market this idea. But you could do it in self-publishing. Traditional publishing, they'll throw you out. The good news, in self-publishing, anyone can publish a book. Yeah? The bad news, anyone can publish a book. There's a lot of crap out there. The first telltale sign of a badly produced self-published book is a cheap cover, all right? You want a quality cover. Chances are you're not capable of producing one on your own. You've got to find someone who can do it for you, all right? Pay them a lot. Get a professional cover, assuming that your audience is one that will be a discerning audience. Is your book's going to come across the rack at the airport, right between Nora Roberts and the next Patterson, and there's yours book, How I Conquered Chattanooga with 15 cents and half a pack of Lucky Strikes or something. You want something that will be attractive, There's a reason Adam and Eve fell, and a very attractive fruit tree has a lot to do with it, all right? So there's that. That's the gist of self-publishing versus commercial publishing now, or traditional. Now, traditional publishing is still viable. It's still there. A good friend of mine, Brad Herman, he ran, what's the one in Shippensburg? Destiny Image for many years. And Destiny Image would look at the size. They want to estimate how many books will sell by a certain author, and they do so by the size of the platform, personal and professional platform. If you are a minister and you have, 10,000, 20,000 followers on Instagram or something like that, or you have a massive congregation, or you travel all over the place, they'll take a chance on you, okay? If you're some obscure writer who's stuck in a hole in Sharpsburg, Maryland, and stares out the window and says, "Gee, what are normal people doing right now?" No, they're not gonna do it. I sold 50 books down in Mississippi. Well, that's nice, Jim. Now go away. The adults are talking. So chances are most of us will start with self-publishing unless we really nail it. And I do run into books that quality-wise would stand up to anything on the commercial market. It's just stunning. But quality is not the determinant, okay? What was it? Jackson Browne. I'm not going to tell you the whole song because it's a little unsavory, but he says I guess it's who you look like, not who you are, all right? I'll leave it at that. The quality of a book is secondary to the marketability of a book. You with me? Now, we all know great books that have made it. Anything Pat Conroy has ever written. Now, that's just my favorite author. A lot of people never heard of him. But incredible writer, and very successful, all right? But I'm trying to think of, what is the one I'm working on right now? Well, Your book. You told me you write well, and I didn't believe you until I looked at what you're doing, and you're very good.
Have you considered Boaz?
You're what?
Have you considered Boaz? That's what we.
Yeah. It's excellent. Yeah, it's the subject is imaginative, the presentation is innovative, and you write well, very well. Yeah. So, how are we doing so far? I'm laying a lot of information. One thing about a church environment is you're used to one person standing there and just assaulting the airwaves with the hail of verbiage, all right? And that's really not what the workshop is about. Now, again, I could talk forever, and I don't want to. How are we doing so far? I've laid a lot of information on you. First of all, do you understand what I'm saying? Second of all, is this helpful?
Yes.
Third, who's got a question? Mr. West.
You mentioned outline. You don't like to use outline
Personal.
personally. So I'm curious what form you do use to get your content onto the page.
Yeah.
And could you describe 2 or 3 other potential forms other than outline and what you do?
Yes. I immediately recall the edict we used in the Navy on board ship, which was always running short of water because desalinization is a process that's very costly. It's like, Chief, I want to get this laundry get down it into the washer. Bryson, you don't need that. You washed your laundry last month. As a chief, it's getting pretty rank. Oh, yeah, Bryson, you're not dirty until your laundry's not dirty until you throw it against the wall and it sticks, okay? Now, ideas are the same way. A good idea, you throw it against the wall and it sticks. Well, we'll throw a lot of bad ideas against the wall and they just slither off, all right? You know thyself. Know yourself as a creative being. It's a process. It's a process of maturation. It's a process. Think of the first time, I think most of us here, except for the folks down here, but most of us were of the age, we were already adults when computers came into our lives, I think, right? And think about the first time you sat in front of a computer and just glared at it and it glared back at you and this thing doesn't do anything. I want my $500 back, all right? Ideas are like that. Creativity is like that. You are going to learn to use your creative spirit as a tool, okay? Like maybe riding your favorite horse. You know how to brush it, you know how to feed it, you know how to take it to the vet, you learn how to care for it, and you learn how to ride it, and you have a blast. So cultivating creativity, it's a learned behavior. Now, for some people, an outline will work. For me, I do a lot of throwing against the wall, and when I get something that sticks, I go with it. So I wrote a book a while back called Bugsy's Detective Agency. And I had the idea of Bugsy as a 12-year-old girl, blonde hair, blue eyes. I think I said, and then I had to change them to brown because my cover guy did the picture of Bugsy on the cover, and my 10-year-old granddaughter read the book and said, Grandpa, in the book you say she has blue eyes, but on the cover you have brown. I said, oh, get away, go play in traffic or something. But no, she nailed it. So there's Bugsy, and I had the idea of who might come walking in the door if Bugsy put up a sign saying help wanted, kind of thing. And who came walking through the door then became Megan. And then Megan, I immediately gave her the personality of someone on the spectrum, like when Megan sits. So it's a what if scenario, okay? It's not, I want this to happen. Rather, it's a what would happen if. It's a what if scenario. So once I had Megan, whoa, we okay? Am I doing something wrong? Okay. So once Megan walked into Bugsy's office, which happens to be on the second floor of an old mechanic shop at the end of a greasy alley, a one-way street. It's very much film noir. So once I had Megan walk in, then I said, okay, what's the interaction? So I think in terms of the key moves, but then I let the characters have their way with the story. So I let Megan talk, I let Bugsy talk. I have a rough idea who Bugsy's personality is, a rough idea who's Megan is, and then I let them interact. And at that point, I'm pretty much the observer. And along the way, some remarkable things pop out. Like suddenly something comes out of Bugsy's mouth, and I honestly, I go, that was profound. Good, Bugsy, you know. So then on the second Bugsy book, I had an idea about, I'll give it to you, spoiler alert, but I had an idea of a kid in a wheelchair. Because I said, okay, there's Bugsy and there's Megan, advanced them by about 2 years. So now Bugsy's about 14, Megan's 12. They're good friends. And in comes what would happen if a kid showed up who wanted to help Bugsy, but he was in a wheelchair? And Bugsy's trying to be polite. So in the book, again, I let the characters speak. Once I have a rough idea, it's important to know your characters. I know Bugsy's personality, I know Megan's personality, and Elliot shows up, and he says, I want a job, I want to be a private eye. And Bugsy's like, well, we're kind of full up on work. That's the trouble with being a good private eye. And Megan goes, remember, Megan's on the spectrum. She goes, Bugsy, we have that big job in Washington, D.C. She goes, shut up, Megan, And then Bugsy's like, a good private eye has to be fast on her feet. You know what I mean? And Elliot, sitting in the wheelchair, goes, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Let me tell you about that. No. You're not getting me, Elliot. You're not getting me. Let's not make this too hard. We have to go places that you might have trouble with. Elliot goes, I don't understand what you're talking about. And he goes, look, you're not getting it. And somewhere from the back of again, all this, I didn't plan this. I let the characters work it. And from the back of the office, Megan goes, Elliot, you don't have any legs. And then pandemonium explodes, and everybody, suddenly the face of human duplicity is ripped off, and the naked beings are exposed. It's like when they used to throw salt water on a freshly whipped sailor, and it just, everything breaks loose, and then Elliot says, look, I know what you're seeing, but there's more to me than you think there is. I will meet you in the morning, and I will show you what I can do. And the story takes off from there. Now, at that point, I'm like, yeah, get him now. It's not me writing the story as much as it's me writing through the story. I'm pretty much the scribe, but I had to set it up. I have to be true to my characters. I find myself reverting back to brainy engineer, when in doubt, analyze it out, okay? It's like I come to an impasse in the plot, and suddenly I've got Bugsy spouting off Occam's razor, which, if you know what that is, it's a tool of philosophy, which says the simplest solution is usually the right one, or the simplest reason is usually the right one. And my test reader looked at it and goes, no, that doesn't make sense. My test reader is 11. So, okay, that went out. And then I'm talking about space-time continuum and Einstein and, things like that. So I have to watch myself. I have to stay true to the character, and that's one aspect of it. Now, that's in fiction. In nonfiction, for me, it's relatively easy to know where I want to take the audience, the readership, from here, and I want to get them to there. And I'm anticipating the roadblocks along the way, okay? We could write a book about something controversial. I've actually worked on these books. The idea of the nature of man. When, if I may get away with the male pronoun he, I mean all of us, even the best of us. But Augustine wrote that people are born with a sinful nature. The church has seized upon that over the years, over the centuries. Yes, Babies are born evil. You got to beat the evil out of them. And I'm not making that up. I wish I was. And we're born evil. And Luther said, basically, the model of the human being is a pile of dung over which God lays a lovely blanket of snow. And we hang on until we get to heaven. Okay. Well, fortunately, brighter theologians have prevailed, and the argument has been advanced. No, babies are born pure. People are fundamentally good. Sin and evil are in the world. Romans 5:11, sin came into the world, and through sin, death. It didn't say sin came into man, it came into the world. Well, where does man live? In the world. What is man subjected to? Sin. 5 years old, mom walks in, half the freshly baked chocolate chip cookies are gone. Little girl standing there with chocolate smeared all over her face, and her little 3-year-old brother is crawling over there playing with blocks. Mom says, Sally, why'd you eat the cookies? And she said, I didn't, Elmer did. Susie, did I say Susie? Susie learned to lie. Okay, it is acquired. All right, now that's, again, I don't want to argue the theological point. I want to give you an example of something that is controversial these days. Now, if I'm writing that book, which I did write one of them, I'm thinking, who are the people that I want to write to? Well, they're the people who think that people are born evil, with an evil nature, a fallen nature. So that's those people. Now, and then I give myself a thought experiment. How do they think? And why do they think it? Okay? Because it's not what you think, it's why you think it. That's what's critical. So if I want to address someone, if I want to persuade someone, instruct someone, enlighten someone, argue with someone, drive them into the ground, I don't know. I need to know not what they do, but why they do it. Not how they think, not what they think, but why they think it, and then, again, how they think. What are their lines of reasoning? What are their tools? What are their ways of obfuscating an argument so that they can forestall any sort of the disquieting feeling of being wrong? Oh, God, perish the thought. And then I go from there. All right? So it's just like I'm embarking in a debate. My end point is I want to make a good case. I want to offer someone a good case for my theological argument. And so that's how I get there. Does that make sense? When I'm writing, it's a conversation with my reader, okay? And if that's how it flows naturally. So if I was writing to a degreed theologian, I'm going to have one kind of conversation. If I'm writing to a dock worker, I'm going to have a different kind of conversation. If I'm talking to my bartender, I'm having a different kind of conversation, and there better be a couple of beers in front of me. So it's know thy audience and be conversant, that kind of thing.
Can I say something?
Please say something.
Okay, so, if I'm painting a room, I'm probably going to do the edge first, do the middle part later. But if I'm painting a mural, it's a different process.
Okay.
And what I'm seeing is if you're going to have an outline, you're kind of painting a room. I'm going to do this first, and then this first, and then this, and it's not what I would do more than mural. I would describe it and bring it forth a little by little, which is what you did with relationships and what you were talking about. And I think it's a difference because, and it's different personalities too. My husband's a 1, 2, 3 person. I'm not. I'm painting a mural. And so it's just different in your personality, but I would not want to read a book that has an outline because it reminds me of school. Trying to teach me something.
It's kind of sterile.
Yeah, and I think you should sneak the teaching into the book and not make it so blatant. Does that make sense? I mean, that's just my 2 cents worth.
The mural, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, James, it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
By the mural, do you mean like just any idea on the topic and then another idea, not like any kind of order to the book?
No, I mean, I think your first layer on the mural is probably the first chapter, and then your second one is the next paint on the mural. And I think the book itself is a mural. When you get done, you have a picture somebody wants to look at. You have something that someone thinks is valuable, and instead of And I think part of it is the difference between women and men. You know, you can be a 1, 2, 3 person, or, you know, I'm the bigger picture person. So it might be male-female stuff, but, you know, I prefer to paint the picture and let them discover for themselves what it is.
The difference, I think, is between a linear thinker and a more abstract thinker.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm very comfortable with both. Speaking in broad generalities, I know many women are more abstract, but that's not all. Jacqueline's a very linear thinker, very logical. Most guys tend to fall back on linear thinking because they suck at abstract, but they don't want to admit they can't. You had your finger in the air, Wes.
Well, I'm a visual artist and an author and a theologian, and I don't like outlines. So I tend to write like I paint, but I still have to have an idea in my head of what I'm going to paint. Unless I'm an abstract artist and painting by what I just feel, then I might paint the floor first, even though it has carpet on it or something of that nature, you know, just to be really abstract.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I feel like the outline becomes somewhat limiting
Oh, yeah.
for me, and so I tend to use bullets.
Yeah.
Because they're general bodies of thought that I would want to develop, but I have to have an overarching body of thought that I want to sort of present to my audience. This is my point, or
Yeah.
this is what I want my audience to feel and to know about the content that I'm creating. And so, yeah.
Do you like to argue? Do you like debate?
Sometimes. So
Yeah.
it could be persuasive. I like to be more descriptive than persuasive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I enjoy both.
There's something I was going to get to, but I'm watching the time. I did want to go around the room. Who wants to volunteer? What's your interest in the class? What are you looking for? Now that I'm burned an hour, what are you doing?
I'm totally green to this.
Totally agreeing to this. All right.
And I love your presentation.
Well, thank you. Okay, thank you.
I think you're doing a great job, and of course, I haven't written yet, but it's in me.
Okay. Remind me the writing in me in the back there.
I started writing my testimony, and it just got crazy, because I couldn't figure out the audience.
Okay.
My ex-in-laws, my husband passed away, and they're suing me. So it's a lot of drama, but I wanted to write my testimony to them.
Okay.
And it just, and I know it's something I have to finish,
Yeah.
but it's my testimony and my late husband's. It's just
Okay.
all over the place. So
Neat.
I just wanted some
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah, obviously, give yourself liberty, in the back there.
So I'm contracted to write a book
Oh,
for professionally, right?
uh-huh.
And I'm having a hard time actually writing it.
What's the book about?
It's about, well, it's changed several times, but broadly it's about artificial intelligence in libraries.
Wow.
I didn't hear that.
Very artificial intelligence and libraries. Like in the order of library science?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's for librarians.
Sure.
In a situation like hers,
Yeah.
that would be where an outline would be very useful.
So
You're
an
building
outline has been recommended.
Foundation.
Me, I would pick a couple of main characters, throw them in the middle of the library after hours and have them duke it out. I don't know if you remember the movie Office Space, but there's that scene where they beat the crap out of the copier. I was like, yes, come on. Israel, what are you doing here, other than moral support? Israel came to me this spring, and I don't know her. I ran into her last year, but it was just passing. She was running the table, and she was very nice to double charge everybody, and we split the profits. But I get this email out of nowhere, and it's like, Dear Jim, I'm probably Mr. Jim or whatever, but I'd like to intern with you for the summer. And I think to myself, all right, one more kid that wants to do this and that and the other thing. And so I don't have the heart to say no. So I throw her something. Here, see what you can do with this. And she came back and she blew me away. I was like, whoa. So I said, all right, challenge accepted. And at the time I was working on a manuscript that was just nailing me to the wall. And I threw it at her. And she did it. Kid's got chops, okay? So, yes. Anyway, Israel, what are you doing here?
Well, I'm currently taking a break from writing right now personally, but I know that God's,
That's why you're not answering my emails anymore, right?
well, I mean, writing for like me, like personally, but I know that God is going to call me back to it in the future, so
Yeah.
I'm building my toolbox for when that happens.
Yeah. Up here, anybody want to speak up? What do you, huh?
We talked about it.
I know, but you're in the class now. I got to share it with the
So
class.
I've never written a book,
Okay.
but it was ingrained in me from 5th grade when I left my home with my mother to move in with my father and told a little bit about my life to my 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Herzog.
Yeah.
She said, "Your life is so interesting. You need to write a book one day."
Yeah.
And so I've always felt that I'm supposed to write a book,
Yeah.
but it's a real heavy,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
subject.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how to go about that.
Got it. Got it.
Not being so heavy.
Remember, in the first draft, you can say anything, and you should. It's in the second and third drafts that you begin to cull the fruit. I think that's what it is. Whatever. Yeah, you begin to clean it out. Okay, good. In the back there, two gentlemen. John.
Mine's just multiple attempts to write my story.
Okay.
Like her.
Okay. All right. I was born a poor child in Mississippi, the son of itinerant farmers. We were poor, but we were proud. Spent my life up and down these cotton fields. That's why one shoulder's lower than the other from hauling that sack up and down. Yeah, in the back there.
I kind of approach my writing more from a teacher standpoint and trying to give perspective and insight into some biblical principles and things.
Yeah.
Some of it is just teaching and tying together different scriptures from the Old Testament, New Testament,
Uh-huh.
giving Greek definitions and Hebrew definitions of specific words and how they play into
Yeah.
the theme that God is doing. And some of them, God showed me in Ephesians 2:10 where he says you're his workmanship,
Yeah.
but the Greek word there is poema, from which comes poetry,
Yeah.
poet. And he gave me the title of God's poetry of circumstance.
Yeah.
And I was able to tie in a lot of my own testimony and how God wove together over a period of 30 some odd years
Yep.
what he told me in the beginning and how it ended up.
Okay. Who's your audience for that? Who reads your stuff?
Well, I give out copies to people at the church.
Got it. Okay. So people who know you. So think of the two different platforms, personal platform and professional platform. So your reach sounds like you're reaching. Good. Good for you. Good answer. Or how about you? Are you writing anything?
No,
No?
I have not.
Fair
In
enough.
fact, mine right now is all curiosity.
Sure.
I've had people speak into my life and say they could see me write a book,
Yeah.
and so I'm here to learn.
All right. Ma'am? What are you up to?
I'm a journalist, but I have a tendency, mine are all scrambled in different places. I
Yep.
sort of wanted to condense my life story. I feel like I have led 3 different kind of lives.
Okay.
And so it was like I lived 3 lives. You remember
Yeah.
there used to be no show
Yep.
like that. But, basically there are a lot of things that even I was talking to like my granddaughter the other day, and she said, "I didn't know that about you." You see there, and there's a lot I don't want her to know,
Yeah,
of course,
yeah.
but still, it's a Clay Nash story, but anyway.
Yeah. Have you read Clay's
Oh,
the book on
yes.
Clay? Yeah, I would say to you as well. The key phrase is statute of limitations.
Right.
All right. When I sat down with Clay, I said, "Look, Clay, you're about to tell me your story," and what I did is I got a quick story on this. But in engineering, we have what's called CAD machines, all right? They print out big drawings. They call it E-size drawings. They're like, I don't know, they're like 3 foot this way and 2 foot that, great big things, all right? And then you got a lot of intricate drawing stuff inside, and it tells people how to build what you've designed. But CAD paper comes on a big roll. So I went to the CAD machine and I pulled off 25 feet. So I had a big 25-foot roll of paper that was that high. And I got 2 of those, and Clay and Susan came over to the house, and I think we're 2 days with him, and we laid it all out, and I drew his timeline through his whole life. And I said, I don't want to know when you were born. I want to know when your parents were born. I want to know when you were the gleam in your daddy's eye. And we're going to go from here. And it worked. But I told him, I said, look, I said, I know you did a lot of stuff. Some stuff doesn't have a statute of limitations. I do not want to know it. I do not want to be accessory. Go, oh, no, Jim, ain't nothing like that. And then he says, well, now I will tell you one story. We don't need to put it in the book, but now I'm trying to do a Clay Nash here. The quote in the beginning of his book is a true quote. He said, Jim, you sound like a drunk Yankee trying to talk Southern. I said, no, own it. But he told the story, I don't know if you remember, but the first chapter of the book, he tried to kill a guy. It didn't succeed. And he said, no, that doesn't go. He said, probably doesn't want to go in the book. Nobody's going to be interested in that. Nobody want to be interested. It's the first freaking chapter, and it's one of the best things I've ever written. So, good.
But see, there are a lot of things that happened to my grandparents and my great-grandparents. I knew all my great-grandparents.
Yeah.
And there are things that generationally have not been shared through the
Sure,
years.
sure.
You know, and that's the way that the culture of the American Indians, Native Americans, is passing it down from generation to generation.
Yeah.
And if there are things that are not told, if your story's not told, nobody's going to know what happened.
I get a lot of those books to work on, legacy books. Again, I keep picking on you, Israel. I don't mean to, but for most of us, we'd be a good ad for AARP. And we get up into the age, usually 60 and beyond, and we start thinking, I want to leave something behind, which is also a great song that comes at the end of the movie, The Accountant, which if you don't know that, you're not going to get into heaven, so you better go rent it. But so we want to think about leaving a legacy, Again, looking for an audience. How does he say it? Eric Johnson, Bill Johnson's son, he said, every emotion is looking for a story to attach itself to. And that's how we preserve emotions. I remember the time, so I had an interesting childhood myself. And at one point, my dad, who had become a distant figure in my life for a while, by phone, I don't know, I was 6, 7. This is back when you could go behind the school and play baseball, and you didn't need parents and white shirts and whistles and fist fights between different sides. And I wanted a catcher's mitt. And the day, I never thought I'd see it, because I'd learned to distrust. You go back to the idea of people are born good or bad. I'm going to advance, I'm adamant they're born good. It takes work to mess up a child. You have to try hard. But when a child finally gives up on you, and that's an extraordinarily, again, difficult thing to do, but when that box arrived, box 31, East Berlin, Pennsylvania, and there's a little slip of paper, I had to take it around to the other side, and the postmaster gave me this box, and in there was that catcher's mitt. I'll never forget the feeling. But you notice I attached the feeling to the story of the mitt. That's why our stories are important. The most persuasive means of communication is story. Don't think of story as fiction. Just think of story as told in a story format. The first 5 books of the New Testament are story. You got 4 Gospels and you got the book of Acts. I lose count in the Old Testament because I can never figure out if Deuteronomy is story or not, but it's a lot of story. But Genesis, you got you all the way through the flood and everything else, and the invention of the V-twin engine and disc brakes, and story. It's powerful. It's powerful. I'm thinking about your dilemma, and I wondered if, as a rough draft, you could create a character. Now, this is the way I would approach it, so if it doesn't work for you, and throw her in the midst of the problem. The best stories are about solving a problem. You encounter the problem and then you solve it. And it's like, here's Melinda, and Melinda's a new, or she could be an old librarian, and suddenly she is told to incorporate II because they're laying off all the associate librarians, and what is she going to do? And at first she's despondent, and she goes home every night and throws back a fifth of Jack Daniels, but that doesn't work. And so she begins to think positively and take certain steps. And then, now, I mean, if you have to write a manual for that, that's something different. But that might get you going in terms of what problems am I trying to solve? I don't know. Mr. West, I know you said you've got a lot of books in you and you're creative, and I want to bring up something. I hear it a lot, and then we're going to get to these exercises, I promise. But you're such a rapt audience. Don't unwrap, I wouldn't be. But keep throwing out these. I had an interesting summer, and I was ill most of the summer, and the brain is recovering, and I absolutely lost story. I'm sorry, I lost it, and it was important. It'll come to me. We kind of covered what you were looking to write about, I think. What subjects do you want to touch on?
Well, there's quite a few, but
I know what it was.
I would say if there was a general idea would be encouragement
Okay.
for people that are struggling to life situations, how to move forward with life when difficult things hit you. I have lots of metaphors for that and such, but
Okay.
yeah, so I write children's books, I illustrate, I think I probably have too many things in there.
Right.
And I need to narrow it down a little bit more, but yeah.
Okay. A general encourager, exhorter.
Yep.
What are you writing?
Discipleship.
Oh, I've heard something else. You said discipleship? Okay, I'm sorry. Too many years in the Navy. Go ahead. Okay.
And the process of it. And I've got other books after that, but this is the one I'm working on first.
You might include the history of it, which is not necessarily the straight line, you know what I mean? But that would be good. Okay. So I hear a lot. I have a book in me. You heard Clay Nash, if you were there this morning, that every one of you has got a book in you, probably multiple. And what he's alluding to is what I said at the beginning, that the writing is the external presentation or manifestation of an internal dialogue. We all have this internal dialogue. It's going all the time. And I think that's what people attribute to, I have a book in me. Okay? I want to encourage you to bring forth the writing when you feel you're ready. And even if you're not ready, because the first challenge is, okay, Bryson, define ready. Well, I'm not sure I can. But if you go into old age, go into eternity, whatever, not having written a book, I want to still encourage you. You haven't failed, all right? You've lived your book, all right? The internal dialogue is lived out in our lives every day, okay? You clearly think about Wes, think about encouraging people, thinking about the downtrodden, thinking about how you can help them. Wes was a pastor for many years, at least employed as a pastor. He's still a pastor by nature, okay? If Wes never writes a book, Wes lived the book, because the book is the outward manifestation of his inward dialogue. You know, in the Old Testament, the Holy Spirit came on us. In the New Testament, the Holy Spirit comes in us. So the Holy Spirit is shaping our internal dialogue. All right, I want to do something. I want to do two things. Find something you can write on. Now, here's your deal. You have an aging uncle, of which I am one. Not aging, just an uncle. I'm an uncle. And you love him. And you're going to see him in the hospital every day. You take him his newspaper, his racing forms. You sneak in a cigar, open the window when the nurse isn't looking. He's lost the power of speech. And he knows he's going to die soon. You know he's going to die soon. There's no point pretending anything else. But for some strange reason, and he loves you, you know he loves you. For some strange reason, he can make music When he opens his mouth, he makes music. And I'm going to play you the song or the music that he makes. It's 2.5 minutes. What you're going to do is you're going to tell me what your uncle who loves you is he's trying to leave you one last message for life. He mentored you when you were little. He picked you up when you fell off your bicycle. He helped you buy your first car. He intercepted the boys who tried to come to the door, and he actually decked one. I mean, this was your uncle. He loved you, all right? And when your father died, he stood by you by the casket. This man was there with you for life, and he's invested in you. And he can't speak. He can't do anything but make music. And he's going to be dead soon. So he's leaving you something. I'm going to play the song for you that emanates from him. And you're going to tell me.
Can I ask you a question?
I was rolling. What? Yeah, sir.
Who are you?
Me. You.
The person and the character.
You're the kid. You're the nephew or the niece. Niece, nephew. You guys can be nieces if you want. I mean, I'm open, you know. It's like, just be hot God. Okay. So you're going to hear this. And then without talking, you're just going to write it down. I'm going to give you about a couple of minutes. You tell me what he said to you. But you got to hear it first. Okay. Now, I got to find it first. I got all my AV people who have now since abandoned me. Isn't that something? All right. We are going to find, and if you know the song, don't blurt it out, because knowing the song really there is no right answer. And if you know Italian, absolutely don't blurt it out. Oh, by the way, spoiler alert, it's in Italian. All right. I don't know what jumped in here. Let's see if we can do this. Where is it? Here we go. Ready? Whoa! Me and Spotify, we got to have a talk. I know. Okay. Now it's not coming at all. Are we ready? Sir? Okay. No! Sorry. All right, bear with me. What was I saying about first drafts, second drafts? Here we go. That's probably your uncle. Yeah, I got a bunch of writers in here, I can tell. Yeah. So when you get about 2 or 3 paragraphs, just look up, but feel free to finish your thoughts. Ma'am?
This is a rough way to write.
It is. That's why we're doing it. You wrote 4 lines. Okay, well, minimalist. Don't smoke, don't chew, don't run with those who do. The pump don't work because the vandals took the handles. Working? All right, most heads are up. So who's going to read theirs? Who would like to share first? You look bright and shiny. What did your uncle say to you? Speak loudly.
I did not write that much. I wrote just a few lines.
Ma'am?
Look at me.
Hey, we'll start. Come on, we got to start somewhere.
I think you should go first.
I only got like through a measure of the song.
Oh, well, what do you have there, Vanessa?
Okay.
And I'm saying it right, Vanessa?
It's Vanessa.
Vanessa.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did because I like storytelling, so I had to get into the room. So I heard him begin to hum. It was shocking as he had been nonverbal since the stroke. I froze in the room as I could almost see the humble hum envelop his whole body. Though as soft as a whisper, it was overwhelmed with emotion. It swelled through the room, his story strong and punctuated by the rhythm. I heard his heart say, I have known a God deeper than the pits that I have fallen into in my life. That's as far as I got.
Right. And that was the idea, is what is he saying? So, good. Go ahead. You want to read yours?
Yeah, my dear niece.
Speak up. Yeah, it's a big room.
My dear niece, you are the apple of my eye, the splendor of the stars. Your graceful words are always inspiring my heart. I will always hold our special times in my heart throughout eternity.
Yeah.
Never forget my love for you, and I will continue to watch over you after my passing.
Yeah.
Grow in grace and raise your babies. Please tell them about me and our special times. Don't let my words die. Teach them to your children, and I will be with you always. Your Uncle Luigi.
Wow. You even named him. Do you notice she named him? It's one of the keys of storytelling. And that's what the next exercise is about. Don't just say, the boy fell, the man walked, the girl. No. Roger did. Put a name. Yes, sir. What's yours? Very nice, by the way.
I didn't get very far with it.
This is a safe. So it is emotional, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Time to think.
yeah. Precious to Ronaldo, life is full of uncertainty.
That's it?
Makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
It was good.
You have the champion living inside of you. Never forget, you are not to be limited by anyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really good.
Yes. All right. In the back. I got 3. What do you guys have?
Life is hard, it must be lived. You must persevere, you will triumph.
Yeah.
That's where it was.
Interesting.
Yeah.
When you're done, I'll tell you what he was singing. It's from the opera Turned Out by Puccini. Yeah. Okay.
I'll pass.
Okay. All right. All right.
I wish I'd said that.
How about our librarian here?
I misunderstood the assignment, but
Sounds like a librarian. You misfiled the book. We have a Dewey Decimal System here.
so I was trying to encapsulate it. So I just said, live your life with hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Israel, what do you got?
I put down, take your time to grieve, but don't get trapped in a cycle of depression. I'm so proud of you. Live a long and happy life. You are capable of more than you think. We will meet again in paradise.
Yeah. Okay. Did the music inspire that? Or were you just
Yeah, it was, the emotion of the song.
the swelling? And is it Sue? Is it Sue? That's right. Yeah.
How blessed am I to have lived my life as your uncle, or how blessed am I to have lived your life as my life as your uncle has brought me so many blessings. Don't cry for me. You are strong and you will do well in this world. You live your life the way you were brought up, and know that I am watching you, admiring you, and cheering you on. This is not goodbye, but see you soon.
Yeah. Regina, what do you have?
I'm leaving you without regret, and yet I'm sorrowful for that which we will never accomplish together. As sorrow takes my final breath, I leave you with the memories we can never erase. Live well, my favored one. Do not weep for me, but weep for that which we can never again do together.
Yeah. So yeah, that's an element that hasn't been caught yet. You're very good. What do you have, buddy?
You've always felt as though you were never enough, but I want you to know that I've always believed in you. And I believe as you strive to move forward in whatever you do, you are an overcomer and you will achieve whatever you set your heart to do.
Yeah, it's powerful. And it comes from your heart, doesn't it? That's the exercise. That's part of it. And John, what do you have, man?
Well, the music really didn't, it was more the context, I guess.
The music, what?
Huh? It
Well-
wasn't really the music, I couldn't tune into the music.
That's fine. That's fair.
John, thank you for coming. I want you to know how much that your dad would share with me how much he loved you and was not sure he could express it, though tried to show through things given or at times not comfortable with.
Yeah.
He did not want to upset your mother with his intervention.
Yeah.
He and I fought, but we would get over it. We knew we loved each other.
Yeah.
We would fight for each other. He was so proud of you and wanted the best for you as I do. So we wanted to just give you a jump start in life. Stop saying you are not or were not a fulfillment of his desires and dreams.
Yeah. Very nice. In the back.
You have been a great joy to me. I have treasured the moments we've had together. I watched you struggle through hard peer pressure and stay true to your love for life and for following Christ. You have so much strength and you can accomplish your dreams. I won't be here to encourage you the rest of the way. But you have your memories with me, and you love your knowledge of God and his love for you. Go, stand strong to the end.
Yeah. It's good. It's good because it's from the heart. It's very good. Yes, what do you have, ma'am?
Be strong, don't be afraid. I have to go away, but know that you have always been in my heart. My love will forever be with you. Enjoy your life. You are my special girl. Take courage and remember our special times together.
Sure. Yeah. I like it. What do you got, Scott? Next time, do better.
The music's kind of tragedy
Yeah.
to me, so
Okay.
I didn't, and all the last words I've been a part of were not like happy and uplifting.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be.
My life is at an end, and I'm not ready to go. Live your life better than I did.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. What'd you have, Wes?
My favorite nephew. There is great hope and destiny for you as you live into the fullness of what God has made you to be. My lovely boy, live passionately and let our love drive you on.
Now, that's good. Now, what I want you to see is you went from a process of abstract to concrete, all right? This exercise to me mimics the writing process. Again, fiction or nonfiction. The idea that the human psyche really starts very low. It's called the limbic system. And more conventionally, it's called the gut. It's, instinct. And then somewhere in there is the emotional level. And these are approximations. Don't bring Jordan Peterson in here and he'll nail me to the wall, but this is what I've been able to glean. So we got the limbic system, the gut, even below, it just is, okay? And then you have the emotions. I feel something. I feel flutter. I feel this. I feel that. And then you have the intellect, probably in terms of the brain, the frontal lobe. And that's where words come. And that's where logic and arguments come from, okay? So a simple illustration is, again, this is a guy illustration, but I'm a guy. But guy comes home and, honey, made up my mind. Gotta have a new truck. Want a big Ram 2500 6-inch lift kick, easy rider, rifle rack in the back. Gotta have a truck. Well, why do you need a truck? Well, no, I've reasoned it all out. Gets better gas mileage. It'll pay itself in 99 years. Perfect. Makes logical sense. Okay. Now, she's smart, and she's going to say, well, what are you feeling? Well, Roger drove by, and he has a new truck, and I want a new truck. Okay. But where did that come from? Deep down inside where I can't explain, something just says truck. And that's where we go. Okay, now we move from abstract through the emotions to the intellect. Okay, so what you heard is a song in Italian. Does anybody speak Italian in here? Anybody at all? A little bit, okay. The context of this is in the opera Turned Out. There's a beautiful princess. People come up to want to marry her from all over the world. She gives them 3 riddles because secretly she doesn't want to marry. If they get all 3 riddles right, she'll marry them. If they don't get the 3 riddles right, she kills them. She's got quite a track record. And yet the suitors keep coming. Finally, of course, one comes and he gets the first answer and she gets nervous, and he gets the second riddle and she gets really scared, and she gives him the third one, and she orders that she says you have 12 hours to answer the third riddle, and she orders that nobody in the kingdom will sleep that night. Nessun dorma means no one will sleep. And the last word, so this is the young valiant one who's come for the bride, and he's singing of his resolute endurance. He said, at dawn, I will win, I will win, I will win. And in the story, he does. But you heard that, and you wrote what you imagined he was saying, but what you really wrote was coming up inside you. Yeah? And that's okay, because what sells, what conveys, and by selling, I mean what carries the day is your story from your heart, fiction or nonfiction. I've read tech manuals where the writer clearly had a passion for how to get this program to work, and I've read others where the guy couldn't care a whit, from the heart. That's your strength. And people go, oh, AI, it's going to take us over, and it may. But what AI can't do is tell your story. It can tell a story like yours, but it can't tell your story or any of the stories. All right. How are we doing on time? Do we have time for like one short exercise? We're coming up on 2 hours, and I need some vote. Now, if anybody got to get up and go. I've always wanted to do this. I've been doing this class. How long have I been doing this class, Regina? Jacqueline, 6 hours, 6 times, 8 times. All right. This is just a real quick writing exercise. It's actually an exercise in blackboard management. You might want to slide over. I told you, try to get you moving. You can sit next to Regina. She doesn't bite. Well, she does, but she's had all her shots. All right. I want to just take you into the life of an editor for a moment. All right. There are 2 types of writers, really. There are writers that embellish everything. They write too much. And then there's writers that don't write enough. And I would rather have an embellisher, because it's easier to take something away than to put something in. All right? In the book, I talk about the big, fat, obese, round, corpulent cat. All right? Now, I love a sentence like that because it's very easy to edit. Okay? You strike it all out and you write rotund or, whatever. You pick one and sum it all up, all right? But the other way is if the writer just says the cat, and I'm thinking, what kind of cat? Big fat, big cat, small cat, slow cat, fast cat, yellow cat, brown cat. Tell me something about the cat. All right, that's harder. So first draft, if you're not sure, put it in. Second draft, if at all possible, take it out. Welcome to the world. So we have the sentence of the century. The man entered the building. Now, what do we know about this from this stunning, illustrious description? So graphic, I swore the board was smoking. What do we know? What do we have here? We got a man. Well, that's the beginning of trouble, isn't it, ladies? What the man? The man. What did the man do? He entered. Never a good thing. What did he enter? The building. Now, I'm the editor. And I go, wait a minute, Beauregard. I need a little more. What man? So let's think. What kind of man? What could it be? Do we want to give the man a name? Do we want to give the man a description? Let's build a story just by building from here. You want to give, what kind of man? Who is he? Is he the meter man? Is he the milkman? Is he the undertaker? What kind of man? Is he a phantom? Huh?
Firefighter.
He's a firefighter. All right. So the firefighter. Now are we going to leave him anonymous or are we going to give him a name? Firefighter. Hello?
John gave him a name.
I'm sorry?
John gave him a name.
What's his name?
Clint.
Clem?
Clint.
Clint Eastwood.
Clint. Okay, firefighter Clint. All right. Now, he entered. That's a weak, anemic phrase. How did he enter?
Steps through the rotating door.
He stepped through the rotating door. What did he do?
Gained entrance to the sidewall using his axe.
He, what's the word? No, you said, broke, right? Go with some. So he broke through, firefighter Clint broke through. Is he handsome? Well, that'll be the second sentence when he carries the damsel out who saw him coming and said, and faked a faint, right? All right, so firefighter Clint broke through what? What did he break through, Regina? A door, a wall, a window? What did he break through? Side door with an axe. He broke through a picture window. All right, now you see how this is, you got a better picture of it, right? Picture window. All right. Building, very generic term. Was it a mall? Was it a shack? Was it a garage? Was it a house of ill repute? Was it a gas station? Was it a veterinarian office? Where did he enter? A mausoleum. He broke through the picture window of there you go. I can't spell mausoleum. Now, what's missing here? What did he do? What?
Why?
Yeah, what did he do? The why is answered by what did he do? He broke through the picture window of the mausoleum and what? What did he do? Did he rescue somebody? Did he save the family jewels? Did he put the fire out? Did he run? Did he shoot the monkey? Did he, sacrifice a stick of incense to the favorite elephant god? What did he do in there? Oh boy. He put the fire out and put the fire out. How? How did he put the fire out? Okay, so he hosed the fire? Delicately. And he hosed the fire. And he applied the water. I don't know. It's got to sound right. Firefighter Clint broke through the picture window of the mausoleum and smothered the flames. So you see where we're going with this? Yeah? So in your first draft, you know that the man entered the building. And you can go with that. But in your subsequent, oh, wait a minute, who entered the building? What do you mean by entered? There's so many different ways to enter. Why did he enter the building? What was the building? You see, and now, what would you rather read? Would you rather read the man entered the building, or would you rather read firefighter Clint broke through the picture window of the mausoleum and smothered the flames with his body? Yes. Now you've got heroics. You've got self-sacrifice with his body. Now, what if you wrote it, smothered the flames with his friend's body? You know, now suddenly the whole thing turns, the whole thing shifts. Just on the basis of a little bit of editing, we've gone from an inert.
Before carrying the corpse out.
Yeah. Before cleaning out his pockets and, you know, taking out the pictures of his kids in his friend's pocket. Okay, now we're gone. You can have a lot of fun. See how that goes? That's how you build a story. All right. I think we're about at 2 hours. I'm glad to break. I'm glad to hang out with anybody who wants to talk. Any other questions? Any thoughts? Any? Sir.
What kind of cost are you looking at to do a book?
What does it cost to do a book?
Yeah, like 180 pages.
Well, do is a small word that covers a lot of space. It depends.
Self-published.
Yeah, well, okay. Yeah, I figured it'd be self-published. If I'm presented a halfway decent manuscript, how many words is it? I'm going to hypotheticalize. That's a word.
160 pages.
Pages don't count because you have font adjustment, you have gap between words, you've got margins. All right, word count matters. Let's say you got.
Per page?
I like it. 80,000 words. 80,000 words, about 250 pages. Depending on how, a lot depends. It's subjective. What shape is the writing in? What shape does the writing have to be? What is the writer like? I've had some writers is like, you know, take me anywhere you want, and others is like, don't touch a word, you know. And those are the people that, yeah, look, I can be warmed and filled, go and sin no more, but not here. And then there's you know, a full-blown edit of 80,000 words can be $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, depending on how much work is there. You're looking at about another $500 for a cover. You're usually looking at about $1,500 for formatting. That's the part I didn't cover. You write your manuscript, you get it all approved, you get your words right, you still has to be formatted. That means you put it in the shape of a printed book. Margins, headers, footers, anything fancy, dropped caps, page numbers, everything. The formatting makes it look like a book. Formatting, probably $1,500. You know, you're up to 2, you're 5. You're probably in the neighborhood of $7,000, $8,000. Okay.
That's saying you just passed a rough draft, I'm assuming.
Ask me a little bit.
That's like, to me, that sounds like somebody just wrote it out in just one block paragraph.
It would depend on the condition.
Make this a good book? I mean,
Well, there's different levels of editing. There's content editing, there's developmental editing, there's copy editing, and there's proofing, okay? Developmental editing is like, let's sit down and let's talk about the whole concept. Let's move this paragraph here, this chapter there. Oh, the scene of the antelope chasing the cavemen happens way too soon. It's got to come at the end. That's developmental. That's a lot of work. And frankly, I don't like to do that. I just don't have the corpuscles anymore. I'm not the man I used to be, Dark Kenyon. But then there's content editing, which I'm probably bending the definition a little bit, but I'm going to make the sentences flow. I'm going to make the paragraphs flow. I'm going to make it make sense, make it readable, fun, maybe interject a little bit of ideas. I try to slip stuff in on her and she go, wait a minute, I didn't say that. No, but you should have.
most books that you edit
You have fights with your editors sometimes.
have content editing.
Yeah, it's usually content editing. Sometimes I do, what I do a lot of times is people will give me preachers because you can't shut them up. they give me audio files. And then what I do is I like Clay will teach. He's like, Jim, I'm teaching the alignment book. He was teaching on alignment for about a year and a half. And Jim, I think I almost got it down. Okay, great. When he finally almost got it, when he got it down, then he sent it to me. We transcribe the audio files, strip out all the junk, because he's teaching. So you look at the transcription, it's like, hi, everybody. Hey, I see the Martins. Hey, Martins, how are you doing? You're in from Malaysia. How are things? Is it warm in here? Everybody tired? I'm going to go for 2 hours, and then I'm going to shut up, I promise. You strip all that out, and you got alignment is very near and dear to God's, and that's where the story starts, you understand? So you do all that. If you're asking me if I'd take on your project, is that what you're asking me? Or are you just trying to get a ballpark price? Ballpark price. I would budget between $8,000 and $10,000. Now that's me talking. Some people charge a heck of a lot more, but then I have to sleep at night. Are we good?
I need to learn how to do it.
Sleep at night? Yeah. Oh no. Well, no, I'm not. I don't know what your budget is. I don't know what your budget is.
I work at a 501c3.
Okay. If you want some advice, you can send me what you have, okay? Do it.
I don't have it done yet.
My life's motto, everyone has a right to my opinion. Who else? Got a question, anybody? All right, well, you've been a lovely audience, such a lovely audience. I really hate to go, but thank you very much. Do it again next year. Thank you. Oh, we did? Oh, did they ever chime in?
One person said listening, one person said watching from India, and one person says, please, Mike, Regina cannot hear.
Sorry. All right. Do you know how to turn this off, Regina? You talk out more than I do.
How to turn it off? I'm trying.
Oh.
That's not it.
Appreciate your time.
You got it, buddy. Do you have my email?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, throw it.
Oh.
Remind me, because,
I will.
hey, I was the tall guy in the green corduroy jacket. And, yeah.
I don't see how to do it either. I don't know.
Okay.
It'll be a while.
Is that it
All right,
right
brother.
there?
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm sure I'm offline by now.
Hey, if you don't have time to look at all that stuff I gave you.
Why don't you do this? Because I got to hit the road in the morning.
Okay.
Talk through scanner
Okay.
and send me a soft copy.
Okay.
Send me a PDF. Okay? I'd like to do it. I think it would be easy. You can just produce the book. And what we talked about earlier is that could be like a giveaway book, a gift book. For a donation of anything, here's some nice poems.
Okay.
That's my thought.
Okay.
If you want to do something differently, that's fine. But if you think people don't read books much, they should read poetry much. That's, but the people who do will really appreciate that. That is what a little bit I saw. That's the kind of poetry that should be out to the audience. It's not internal poetry per se. So it's good stuff. I think it's good stuff.
Okay. Why don't you give it to me?
Give it to you.
Is I will send you electronically. How's that?
Yep, that's it. Just run it through a scan. You know what I mean by scan? They got automatic feed scanner.
Okay.
Don't sit there and go page,
So
page,
it's
page.
not trash.
No, ma'am. If it was, I'd tell you. If it was, I would say, Regina, it's a deep internalized thing, and it should stay there. That's not what I'm saying. Okay?
Okay. Good.
Right.
All right. I'll get her done. We'll get it to you.
Yeah, ma'am. Oh.
Here's for my book. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
All right. Hey, bud. Okay. You got it. Thanks for being a good listener. That story that came out of you, oh my gosh, when you wrote from the song. Yeah.
So keep going after it.
Yeah, yes, do.
Do you have a business card?
Not on me. I have, I'll give you my name, phone number, email.
And you don't have any business cards back there with the books?
No, not on me. The book, here. You have a book?
I
You
do.
have a book. Okay, so it's in the back. My email's in the back somewhere. I thought it was, maybe it's not. I'm not so good at that.
Okay.
Yeah, here. I live in Sharpsburg, Maryland, come contact here, James O'Brien, gmail.com. And do not miss the quote from Blade Runner.
Okay.
You ever see the movie Blade Runner?
I don't know if I have or not.
You gotta go see the movie Blade Runner. You gotta go rent it. Can't get into heaven if you don't know the movie Blade Runner. I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attacked ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I've watched sea beams glitter in the dark near the Tannhauser Gate. All those moments will be lost in time, like tears in rain. Time to die. That's an android he's dying.
All right, so
Anyway,
this
good
is
stuff.
how I reach you.
Yep, yeah, sure. And your name is Angela?
Smith.
Angela Smith. Okay, that's, all right, remind me.
I will.
Just say Blade Runner, I'll remember. Hey, bye.
Hey, can you sign my book?
Yeah,
Would you mind?
I don't have
Ooh, okay.
don't have a pen.
I am here. Yes.
All right.
I would love that.
Okay. Here, let me get this one,
Angela.
because this is the first one that came to me.
All right.
Is this a pencil?
It is.
Can I use a pen?
I got a pen in my
I'll
purse.
break it.
Here, let me grab all
I
my
might
stuff.
have one here.
I've got one right at the top.
Thought I had one, okay. I don't. I do. Here we go.
Say, okay. Oh, you got it? Okay.
A-N-G.
ELA.
Steps. Thank you. Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome, brother. The footsteps